Hi everyone, Irla here. There are some sound issues with my microphone in this episode. It'll be back to normal next time. I hope you can stick with us for this episode and enjoy the show. Welcome to Amiga Ireland. It's the 10th of January and I'm Irla.
I'm Rob.
I'm Luke.
In today's episode, we have Mortal Kombat news twice.
We look at a couple of new games and another WinUAE update.
Apart from that, extra special guest at the Amiga Ireland meeting 2019.
So, hi guys, how were your Christmases?
Mine were very quick, to be honest. I was mostly at work and I really, seriously look forward to my holidays.
I meet a lot of people who are just exhausted after the so-called holiday.
Oh, absolutely. I need an actual holiday now.
Yeah.
My Christmas was very, very busy because we drove back to Ireland and spent a lot of time driving around Ireland, driving to different families, spending time with as many people as we could. Then up to Leitrim and Belfast, and then back down to Wicklow again, and then just a couple of days back in Glasgow now, and absolutely shattered. But busy couple of days, but it was great.
And then you have Amiga Ireland ahead of you in about a week's time.
I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Well, I was in Crete, which is absolutely beautiful. I've been to Greece a few times. It was my first time in Crete. Lovely people. We were in Ira Petra, and the food is absolutely amazing. We miss it so much, myself and my daughter, and we're going to be back very soon. We're already planning our next holiday there. But this is our last podcast before Amiga Ireland 2019, which is happening on the 18th and 19th of January.
Exciting.
Yeah, just a week away or less if you're not getting this on the first day it comes out. We have a lot to talk about, so let's move on to the news.
Okay, first up, there's WinUAE 4.1 was released. This, depending on how your use of WinUAE, this might be a nothing update or it might be a huge update because there are some pretty big fixes and pretty big improved features in it. One of the main things is that the bridgeboard emulation, that's sort of emulating bridgeboard PC cards that went into the Amiga to run PC software. So the emulation of them is being rewritten from the ground up and has a load of fixes in it and now works a lot better and supports a lot more software. And there are also big improvements in the AGA emulation, which adds extra precision and extra accuracy in the things like the sub-pixel positioning of the screen and particular behaviors of different fetch modes and stuff were implemented properly and fully, and so there are minor tweaks like that if you're using it for coding AGA software or certain specific AGA software might not work properly on it. There's a good chance they'll be improved now, and you get smoother scrolling and just generally a better experience.
Thomas Wenzel has just prepared a new version of Amiga AMP 3.23, and it was prepared in two versions, a version for Amiga OS 3.9 and a version for Amiga OS 4. The main changes are bug fixes, new library for the applications, and removing a lot of errors during catalog scanning with skins and plugins. So this is one of the, I think right now, the oldest MP3 players for Amiga, and I've been using it for, I think now 12, 15 years. It's a thing that's been with me quite some time, and I really enjoyed using it. I'll be checking that version as well.
Also, Dizzy Torrent version 2.11 has been released, and this is a bug fix release, but also it's more memory efficient and better performance than before, and there are some German and Greek localizations added. So this runs on 68K Amiga, so you'll be able to download torrents on your Amiga with this.
Individual Computers has formally confirmed ownership of the Picasso 96 retargetable graphics system. So this was a thing that happened quite a while ago. But now because there are various rumors and, just the general way the Amiga community is, that there's now sort of a formal statement. And, so basically there have been a number of fixes to the system. So, a lot of the parts of the system being updated and revised, and, a lot of the long-standing bugs have been fixed and sorted out. It's available from, individual computers for basically sort of under a pay what you want kind of deal. So there's a minimum price. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you can pay that or you can pay more than that. And it's an interesting model to try. But, it's been renamed P96 as well because of, just worries about the Picasso name. So it's good to see that there's now, some expletive development going on and that it's available. The programmer's documentation as well is, I believe is supposed to be online. I haven't seen it myself, but, that was part of the deal with the individuals that they were, going to put this software online, and that will help people like the Vampire developers and, anyone else who's doing their own kind of homebrew graphics cards and graphics subsystems. So this will help them a lot because it makes it a lot easier to, and not to mention a lot more legal to develop drivers and release the drivers. So this is great news for everyone.
Good, very good. That's a very good one. Right, we don't often mention news regarding Aeros, so this one is pretty good then. New version of Icarus Desktop 2.2.5 is available for download. First of all, a web browser, OWB, has been updated to support latest version of AMI SSL encryption, and it seems to be a little bit more stable with that version. Apart from that, Magellan, which is the graphic user interface, can now show the current IP address and calculate MD5 checksum for any file. There are also a lot of new versions for a lot of new programs like Vim, VAMP, ABK Viewer, RNOFX, Block Tracker, and many, many more. So, if you are interested actually in an Amiga OS incarnation under X86, why not take a look down there as well?
And for those of you who are interested in blood sports, various Amiga parties have filed a legal motion for an injunction against Hyperion's non-OS4 activities. So we have a link you can go to at pastemonitor.com and you can see there. So there's Amiga Inc., Amino Corporation, Coento, iTech, all against Hyperion in America. So to be honest with you, the legalese was, I find it easier to read source code than read that stuff I was reading there. So I can't really say a whole lot more about it, but same as it ever was. Yeah.
Yeah. What you can say is it's a stupid waste of time and money.
And resources as well.
Exactly, yeah.
We are such a small community, we really need to be together instead of dividing ourselves and fighting each other.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, I think I need to talk about some games to cheer me up. Let's go. Lemmings is available for iOS and Android at the moment, and you can download it now. I played a bit of it over Christmas, and I gave my daughter a go of it too, and she's played the original as well. So they've done a good job of designing for mobile, where pixel precision was what it was all about in the classic machine. Obviously, that's not practical on the mobile, so I was wondering how they do it and keep the feel. There are mixed responses in the comments for iOS anyway, due to things like ads and in-app purchases, but most of the reviews are actually, I think, positive. Also, there have been plenty of updates since then, so maybe some of those criticisms don't apply anymore. I haven't had any issues anyway early on. My girl absolutely loves it, and she likes the original too, so it's worth giving a go.
Developer called Lazy Cow has recently released long-awaited actually game called Power Glove, and it's available as a digital download and the boxed version as well. The game is actually really amazing. We've been mentioning it before. The animation, the sprites, the graphics, the playability, the map itself is huge, and I've actually bought the game, and I've been enjoying it. It doesn't cost a lot, and it's really worth supporting the developer amazing. So what else can I say? It's just great. It feels as if you're playing a game from like great times of Amiga from 91 or 92. So be sure to check that one.
And also, Tiger Claw is now finally available. For any of you who don't know, it's a Bruce Lee inspired game for the Amiga. It looks really, really good, and even the box art's fantastic, and the way the sprites are moving just seems really, really nice. So that's well worth checking out. And it's only $3 to buy. I think that's a digital download.
Mm-hmm, that's
and there's
right.
a box version you can get too. So yeah, well worth checking out.
Now, this is an intriguing one. This Aquabiss has been announced, and that's a new game, and seems to be a point and click kind of adventure game, but there's no actual gameplay footage of it. So all we have is basically a nice description of it, of the world that it's set in, and a very fancy trailer that doesn't have any actual gameplay in it. But it sounds very nice, and it looks like there's a lot of effort going into this, so it's definitely one to watch for the future. But I like this quote from the developers themselves. It's like, it's rather slow-paced action where you can play it with a cup of tea or coffee and have some snacks. I think that's a great way to look at a nice, sort of a nice gentle tempoed adventure game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that whenever it surfaces.
Yeah,
that's for sort of moderately expanded Amigas. I think it's a 68020 or thereabouts it's aimed at. So that's nice. It should work on the most machines as well.
Great. Well, that sitting down, cup of tea, relax kind of game is exactly my kind of game. So I'll give it a go.
The Shadow of Sergoth is another game which is in the making. It's a port of an Amstrad RPG game. And if you like games like, I don't know, Dungeon Keeper, Dungeon Master, or Black Crypt, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. The graphics, the first screenshots have been released, and it looks really stunning and amazing. And it's only OCS graphics. So even though I'm not a huge fan actually of dungeon crawlers, I really look forward to this one because the graphics and the graphic user interface looks really magnificent.
And Portal for C64 has been released, which you can get now, and it looks really, really interesting. If you haven't seen this yet, you're probably wondering how in God's name can Portal have any kind of version on Commodore 64. Well, I won't spoil it for you. Go and have a look and check it out for yourself.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think we looked at the work in progress of that a little while ago, so it's good to see it got a release.
Yeah, that's right.
And this one, I know everyone's probably sick of Christmas at this stage, but this is a really lovely game that's just been released. It's called Santa vs. Dinos. It was written as a present by E-Penguin, or Daniel Lakey in Amiga circles. He's shows up in the forums and that. But he's after making this game as a present for his son, which I think is lovely. And the son gave him a hand with the graphics, and so they do look a bit my first deluxe paint session, but that adds to the charm of it. It's a lovely little thing, but very, very sweet. So so I haven't actually played it, but basically it involves Santa and snowflakes and dinosaurs. So there you go. What more could a kid want?
Yeah. And another really interesting one. This is really interesting. Digiloy. It's a beautiful Commodore 64 shooting game made entirely with Petski. We've got the link here where you can download it, and the reviews are really positive. So yeah, go and check that out for something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Kiwi Story is an interesting development. I don't know if it's fully released yet, but there's definitely a beta around that can be downloaded and played. And that's our friend Eric, or what's his name? Eric Hogan. And he's written this as, in between as many other projects and updates that he's doing. He's written this, it's a good looking platforming engine, and and sort of a nice little bit of a basically just a nice platformer. So I don't know what point it's at yet, but it's worth checking out and downloading the beta anyway. And it was initially an AGA only release, but he has built a special OCS ECS version for people who wanted to try it on the older machines as well.
And the long-awaited Commodore 64 game L'Abeille de Morts is now available from doublesidedgames.com. This is a game that has beautiful graphics and a very nice looking platformer game, and that costs 40 Canadian dollars. I cannot tell you what that is in euro. It could be far less, half the price in euro for all you know.
Probably is, yeah. Maybe about 25 or so. I don't know.
I'm sure the digital download will be available as well. But the game looks really, really nice, I must say. Right, Indie Retro News Portal has prepared a great summary of C64 games released or actually re-released in 2018. You have to read it, you have to see it. There are so many great games actually that's been released for Commodore 64. I think the 2018 belonged to C64, in my opinion, if it comes to games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do those. I think they did those last year as well. Yeah, they're very nice to read, those summaries of the year. Let's move on to discoveries.
While browsing YouTube, I've come across an interesting specimen, actually, Mortal Kombat 2 for C64. Looks like a preview version, actually. And I think there are only two characters to be chosen from. However, still looks pretty alright, to be honest. And
Cool.
If you want to see how it looks, the link will be in the show notes.
Okay, so we both happen to have Mortal Kombat discoveries, even though we didn't plan this, I swear to God. I discovered that Master Daniel Pacina is a really cool guy while listening to him being interviewed by the Galway Gamer. The full interview is up on Mixcloud. They played a part of it on Flirt FM Radio, but you can get the whole thing here. We have the link for you. Daniel Pacina played Johnny Cage, Scorpion, I was going to say Ice Cube. Jeez, what's his name? Sub-Zero. And a few other guys like that in the Mortal Kombat game that we played in our Amigas. So he's a really interesting character to talk about. To talk to and listen to. So yeah, go and give that a listen.
I was recently given a few Amiga bits, and included there was an iTech tower. The old full-sized tower. Specially converted for the Amiga 1200. It's fine. It's a bit of a monstrous thing, but what I didn't realize was that and I only remember sort of reading about it now, is that the Amiga 1200 mounts upside down in them compared to all other A1200 tower conversions, and that means it's impossible to use PCI slots with it. So it's kind of, I'm sure it made sense at the time, because I think they were talking about putting a PC motherboard in there with it, like on the other side of the case. And so it was the best way to fit both computers in there together. But, nowadays it's kind of like, it's of limited use for an Amiga 1200 conversion these days, because really the only main use you'd have these days is for putting PCI slots on it.
Yeah, that's right.
And, so kind of, not even sure what to do with it now, but it's a nice but very flawed bit of metalwork.
Yeah, something distinctly Commodore about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to community news. So Amiga Ireland is happening on the 18th and 19th of January, less than a week away probably if you're listening to this, and it's happening in the Prince of Wales Hotel in Athlone. For everybody who's coming, by the way, wish you all a safe journey. Thanks for booking in with us, and I hope you have a really nice time with the technology and with the people, and that you enjoy what we've got prepared for you, and we're really looking forward to meeting you all. And there is some news for the event, because for starters, we've got an extra workshop that was unplanned. So now there's going to be a music workshop for anyone that would like to learn a bit about trackers, using a tracker on Amiga and making music. And that's going to be held in a kind of an ad hoc way, I think, by Mike Clark. We haven't pinned down the details, but he's open to showing anyone the ropes. So we'll get a group together because it's something that gets asked for actually from time to time. And Mike, of course, is from Psygnosis fame and other places like that. He's made music for loads of Amiga games, but beyond into other platforms as well. So that's a really nice extra bonus for anybody who's coming. And we have other a bit of announcements, which is probably, if you've been online, you've probably heard it already, but I'll leave it to somebody else to spring that one.
Another thing is that I've recently found was Great American actually video cast on YouTube called 10-minute Amiga Retrocast. That retrocast is hosted by Doug from Dynamic Computing, and I've been watching his episodes, and I'm pretty astounded. He really does a great job. The other thing that is really actually interesting is that each of his episodes can be downloaded as MPEG-1 or a ham format file and played on your real Amiga using Riva MPG player. So if you're really interested, go to www.10marc.com and have a look, have a listen, have a go. Doug is a really nice guy.
The big one. So, a lot of you might be already aware of this from, if you're paying attention to the social media stuff. But if not, big surprise announcement. RJ Michael is going to be attending this year's Amiga Ireland. So that's fantastic news. He's one of the founding fathers of the Amiga, if you like, and he was responsible for Intuition, which is all the Windows menus, all the layers, basically the graphical interface, the gadgets, everything like that. It's so familiar about Workbench in the Amiga OS. So it's all the front end of it, and that was him. He did another few bits. Like, I think he did some of the work on the Boing Ball demo that everyone knows as well from the launch of the Amiga.
Yeah, that's right.
And he went on to do some work for was it Panasonic 3DO?
No, first he did the Lynx.
The Lynx, the Atari Lynx, yes.
Atari Lynx, a 1989 portable console. First it was called Lynx, and then Atari bought it, actually. And then after that, he went to work for Panasonic and did 3DO. Yeah.
That's it. And then he worked for a while for PlayStation as well. Yeah. So he's, one of the heavy hitters of the industry, if you like, it still is. But, so he'll be there. We're really looking forward to having him. It's great news.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And if anyone's seen any of the, the recent Amiga documentaries and stuff, you'll have seen him in it. And you see he's a bit of a character as well. So looking forward to having a drink with him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay, let's move on to Ask Amiga.
Okay, so this time around, the questions come from a little bit closer to home. So Luke has asked us, is it possible to use the Amiga to create and deal with the floppy images from the 1581 drive, which was a C64, C128 external floppy drive? And, well, basically, yes, it is. The 1581 is probably not that common, but it was actually... It was like the 1541, 1571. It was an external drive with its own CPU, its own RAM, its own complete system built in. But the drive mechanism itself is the closest to the standard mechanism as any C64 or C128 drive had. So it's essentially just a PC drive in there with the custom controller, pretty much the way the Amiga is. So basically, you can download some software from Aminet and use a mount list to use your Amiga drive as a 1581. So it's basically the format that 1581 uses is the same double density disks that the Amiga uses. It just has a slightly different geometry, which means it's not quite holding as much data. So I think it's 800 kilobytes a disk rather than 880, which the Amiga does. But it's very, very easy for the Amiga to deal with because the data rates are, double density rates, and the geometry is fairly standard. So to use these disks and the images is basically similar to reading PC disks on the Amiga. So if you've used Cross-DOS or FAT95 to mount a PC disk, this would be very similar.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on to online activity. So we've got some new members in the Facebook group. So hello to Steen Fisker, Paul Costa, Amiga Marcel, who I've been chatting to, Rauer, Charholm. Actually, Rar, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but you've got some amazing artwork online. If you go and check him out either on Instagram or on Facebook, you'll find, and he does some of it on Deluxe Paint too. Really good stuff. Mike Clark, who's coming over as well from Signosis, we mentioned earlier. Tony Schiffbauer, Nuno Nunes,
Eliphas Levy, Keith Heary, Marcus Tillman, Mariusz Kołodziński, João Miguel,
Declan Hickey, Chris Lawley, Niels Norgard. Oh, I'm tripping over them. Niels Norgard Peterson, and apologies for that. And Vincenzo Musumeci. Again, sorry for butchering the names. I'm sorry. But welcome along anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And via email, hi to Chris McGonigal, an Irishman living in Texas who got in touch. It was nice chatting to you, Chris. Sorry you can't make the event this year, but we'll hopefully be in touch again soon. Then the top Facebook posts. Well, one was from Mariusz Kolodinsky, who's trying to test his floppy disk drive, and he's received a disk I've sent him now. So, unfortunately, his disk drive is the problem, not the disk. So, sorry about that, Mariusz. Hope you can get it sorted out soon. And also John Riley looking for Octamed users. John, hope you get sorted out there and get back into the Octamed. It's been nice to get some collaborative music making going. And on Twitter, the top tweet was, surprise, surprise, RJ Michael is coming to Amiga Ireland. And RJ posted a fantastic picture of himself holding his tablet with the homepage of our website on it. So thanks, RJ. And also thanks to Marcel from the A1200.net team, as well as Philippe Lang and the rest of the A1200.net team for getting in touch and making that happen. That was fantastic news. And while I'm at it, thanks to our other sponsors, Aeon Amiga Kit, Retro Ready, and Commodore The Inside Story. Thanks to all of our sponsors for helping keep us in the black.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys.
And a final thanks to John Mullins for donating to the event when booking his ticket. We're a non-profit, so everything that gets donated purely goes back into the running costs, including things like the website and the stuff we have to get in on the day, printing badges, all that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Also thanks to Shane Clinton for donating to the event, as well as Paul Harrington, John Mullins, and Matty Whittle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks everybody. So next time you hear from us, it'll be the beginning of February when we release it, but it will be recorded live at the Amiga Ireland party 2019 in January next week. It's hard to say what's going to be in it at this stage, but we will see you then.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.